Hi, we're going to have a look at double stops, specifically in blues. The double stops are where you play two strings together at the same time. So a good example of playing double stops that you'll know is they're double stops. So I'm playing two strings together. And in blues you get double stops quite a lot, in electric blues playing, well, and acoustic blues playing actually. But most blues players that you've listened to will use a lot of double stops. So I'm just going to go through a few of the classic ones that will be the most useful when you're trying to replicate the sounds of Albert King or Eric Clapton or whoever it might be. So I'm going to take the key of B just as an example. As you probably know, when you're playing a blues, a lot of what you do will be the same whether it's in a major key or a minor key. So we're not worrying about major or minor at the moment, we're just thinking blues in the key of B. So the first one we're going to do is in this key, in the key of B, is in second position, and the B, the root note for finding where to play for this, is on the 5th string, 2nd fret. That's the B. So that gives me the position to play for this first one. And it looks like this. We've got the first finger on the 1st string, 2nd fret, second finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and you play those two together because it's a double stop. But what you can do is just slightly bend the 2nd string up like this. And do it several times. And that one often resolves onto a B root note, which is to be found here, 4th fret on the 3rd string. So most people would locate it by thinking of the 5th string root note, but the actual root note that you would use with it would be on the 3rd string. So just quickly to show you how this would move into another key, if I take the key of D, for example, there's a D here on the 5th string. So I would play my pattern here. And probably resolve it on the D. You've probably heard that before. Now the second one is the same notes as the first one, but played in a different place. So the first one in the key of B was here. What we're going to do is go to the standard kind of B position that you're probably most familiar with, which is 7th fret, because there's a B there on the E string. That's B. And put your first finger over the 2nd and 3rd strings at 7th fret. Doesn't matter if it touches the 1st string as well. And then we play those two, so play the 3rd and 2nd. Those two notes are the same as the first two we did, just in a different place. And you just pull the finger slightly downwards to get a slight bend. And if you want to resolve it onto the root note, that's 9th fret on the 4th string. So we'll play the first one again, second one, same notes. The next one you'll hear a lot. You hear this a lot in blues, you hear it in other kinds of playing as well. And it's coming from this 7th position in the key of B. This B blues scale position. You want to put the 3rd finger on the 3rd string at 9th, play that note and slide it along 2 frets to 11. And to turn it into a double stop, your 2nd finger plays the 10 on the 2nd string afterwards. So there's 2 strings ringing now. Alternatively, you could put both fingers on and actually just slide into that. That one often is played in that way and then comes back down to the B blues scale like this. So again, if I want to put that in a different key, let's take the key of D again. D's here. So 3rd finger on the 3rd string, slide along 2. The 2nd finger picks up that other note. Right, the next one, this is one I got from listening to Buddy Guy when I was a teenager and was getting into playing blues. One of the people I listened to the most was Buddy Guy, and I heard him doing this, and I remember sitting down and trying to work out what it was he was doing, and it's this. Well, I think it is, if I worked it out right. So in key of B again, here's my B on the 6th string, so it's also there on the 1st string. So what we want to do is put 3rd finger on the 1st string root note, so that's that note. Put your 1st finger 2 frets back on the 2nd string, so that's at 5th fret in this key. Play those 2, but this one isn't just a plain double stop like with 2 notes, we're actually doing something with it. We're going to play those 2 notes and then hammer on and pull off with your 2nd finger onto the 2nd string at 6. So it's and just to complete that, keep those 2 fingers on and get your 2nd finger to reach across and play the 7 on the 3rd string. So and there's other ways you can play this one. You could go. There's lots of different things you can do with it. I quite like to use it like that and then come into the standard blues position. So this next one's quite a simple one. Still in the key of B, you've got the 7th fret root note and on the 1st string. Think of the 1st string one. You want to put your finger on that but cover the 2nd string as well and just play those 2 strings. Now this works particularly well if you slide into it like this. Chuck Berry, Johnny B. Good and loads of other songs. That's in B flat. It's like a little. And the key of B would be. So not strictly speaking blues, Johnny B. Good, but it's blues related. And if you play it slower, it sounds bluesier. So that's a nice easy one, that one. So if I put that in another key, let's take the key of D again. So here's D. So the pattern is that. Now if I just go back to B again with this one, you can combine it with a few more where you just use your 3rd finger and flatten down at 9th and catch the 2nd and 3rd strings. And then 1st finger, 2nd and 3rd strings at 7th, and you're into the 2nd one that we learnt today, which usually resolves there. So it's so there are a few more that I could go through, but I think they're the main ones, the ones I've just shown you. So have a play around with those, just try to memorise them. They're all quite easy to play and try and sort of fit them into your blues playing. And they just give you a bit more attack, I suppose. If you're playing single notes and then you go into a double stop, but it's going to pop out of the mix a little bit more because you get a bit more attack. Probably drive the amp a little bit more as well. So if you've got a little bit of gain, like I've got here, it's not very distorted, but just slightly. If I play it hard, you can hear it breaking up. If I play single notes, it's very clean. And a little bonus one for you. It's one that I associate with Stevie Ray Vaughan, and it's where you play the root note. So you've got in the key of B, we've got this note, and use that note in conjunction with other notes from the scale, not just one, but just go for different ones. So I could play this 3rd finger, 3rd string note at 9th, maybe the 10, which is the bluesy note. I can play the 7. That's all on the 3rd string. And I'm using hybrid picking to get that. I'm using my pick for the third string, the second finger for the first string. You see there, I just flattened that finger down, so I covered both the third and the first strings. We're not picking the second string. Or you could go, either's fine. And a good way to practice that is to just play the scale, descending scale, down to there, but with this note played at the same time as all of the others. And remember, you can take all of these, they're all in the example key of B, you can take them all and put them in any key. And it's easy, it's just the same thing, you just got to go to the right position on the neck. So if you're playing in G, for example, first one would be that. It could also be here, off an octave. That's the second one that we did. The Buddy Guy one would be there. The sliding one would be here. Chuck Berry thing would be with those extra ones. Stevie Ray Vaughan-esque. So yeah, very easy to move these into other keys once you've got them. Okay, any questions, please put them in the comments. Suggest other blues lessons you want to see, and if I can, I'll do them. And please click the like if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks.